Ever woken up feeling like your body just isn't quite working right? Perhaps a persistent ache in your knees, stiffness in your fingers that makes it hard to open a jar, or just that nagging sense of fatigue that wasn't there in your younger days. It's so easy to dismiss these feelings as just getting older, isn't it? We hear it all the time, that aches and pains are just part of the aging process. But what if I told you that a lot of those common complaints, the discomfort, the sluggishness, that general feeling of being off, isn't simply an inevitable part of the march of time, but something far more insidious, yet entirely within your grasp to change? There's a silent intruder, an invisible fire simmering within your body. And for many of us over 60, it's largely fueled by something you might be eating every single day without even realizing it. This hidden enemy is inflammation. And after 60, our bodies become particularly susceptible to its damaging effects. It's not always a sudden, sharp pain. Often, it's a quiet, persistent a low-grade irritation that slowly erodes our vitality, making everyday tasks feel like a struggle and dimming the vibrant glow of our golden years. But here's the surprising truth. Some of the very foods we consider comforting, convenient, or even harmless are actually pouring fuel onto that inflammatory fire, silently working against our well-being. In this video, we're going to pull back the curtain on 6 common foods that are quietly causing inflammation in bodies over 60. We'll look closely at why they're problematic, how they affect you, and more importantly, what simple, actionable steps you can take to reclaim your comfort, your energy, and your overall well-being. By the end of our time together, you'll have a clearer understanding and the practical tools to start feeling better, perhaps even younger, than you have in years. And trust me, you'll want to watch to the very end for something that will truly surprise you, something that can make a profound difference in how you feel. Starting today, let's start by shining a light on the first culprit, one that has crept into almost every corner of our modern diet: added sugars. Now, I'm not just talking about the obvious spoonful in your coffee or the dessert you enjoy after dinner, while those certainly count. Added sugars are cleverly hidden in so many places you might not expect: breakfast cereals that promise to be healthy, seemingly savory sauces, salad dressings, canned soups, and even your favorite flavored yogurt. Think about that innocent-looking muffin from the bakery, or the fizzy drink you grab for a midday pick-me-up. These can all be loaded with various forms of sugar, from high-fructose corn syrup to dextrose, sucrose, and maltose, names that often try to hide their true sugary nature. So, what exactly is the problem with these sweet additions, especially for us over 60? Well, when you consume a lot of added sugar, especially in liquid form like sodas, your body gets a rapid influx of glucose. This forces your pancreas to work overtime, pumping out insulin to get that sugar out of your bloodstream. Over time, these constant sugar spikes and insulin surges can lead to insulin resistance, a state where your cells become less responsive to insulin. This creates a cascade of inflammatory responses throughout your body. Imagine your cells as little doors, and insulin as the key to open them and let sugar in for energy. With insulin resistance, those doors start to stick, and your body has to try harder and harder to get the sugar in, causing cellular stress and promoting a low-grade, chronic inflammatory state. Furthermore, excess sugar in your bloodstream can react with proteins and fats in a process called glycation, forming harmful compounds known as advanced glycation end products, or AGEs. And yes, the acronym is quite fitting, because these AGEs quite literally accelerate the aging process by damaging tissues, stiffening arteries, and promoting inflammation in just about every organ system, from your joints to your brain. You might experience this as persistent joint stiffness, feeling foggy-headed even after a full night's sleep, or just a general sense of unease in your body. It's not just about weight gain. It's about a deep, systemic irritation that chips away at your vitality. The good news is, reducing added sugars is absolutely doable. It's not about deprivation, but about smarter choices. Start by becoming a label reader. Take a moment to look at the ingredients list. If sugar, or any of its aliases, is listed among the first few ingredients, it's a red flag. Instead of sugary cereals, opt for plain oatmeal with fresh berries and a sprinkle of cinnamon, which naturally adds sweetness and helps regulate blood sugar. Swap sugary drinks for water infused with lemon, cucumber, or a splash of natural fruit juice. If you have a sweet tooth, enjoy a small portion of fresh fruit instead of a processed dessert. A friend of mine, in her late 60s, told me she used to have a fizzy drink every afternoon. When she switched to sparkling water with a squeeze of lime, she noticed within weeks that her persistent knee ache, which she thought was just part of aging, began to subside. It was a revelation for her, and it truly shows the subtle but powerful impact these changes can have. Now that we've unraveled the truth about added sugars, let's turn our attention to another common part of many diets that might be silently working against your well-being. Refined grains. We're talking about things like white bread, most conventional pasta, many breakfast pastries, white rice, and anything made with white flour. These foods are staples in many homes, often seen as harmless, filling, and convenient. But here's the thing: when grains are refined, they undergo a process that strips away the most nutritious parts of the grain, namely the bran and the germ. These are the parts that contain fiber, B vitamins, iron, and a host of other beneficial compounds. What's left is primarily the starchy endosperm. And without that fiber, these refined grains are digested incredibly quickly in your body, almost as fast as pure sugar. This means they cause a rapid spike in your blood sugar, similar to what we discussed with added sugars. And as we now know, those repeated blood sugar spikes trigger an inflammatory response. Think about it: that slice of white toast with your breakfast, the spaghetti you had for dinner last night, or even the crackers you snacked on. While they might fill you up temporarily, they're essentially converting to sugar in your system at an alarming rate, fueling that internal fire. Over time, this constant assault can manifest as that lingering tiredness after meals, difficulty concentrating, or even digestive issues, as the lack of fiber also disrupts your gut microbiome, which plays a crucial role in regulating inflammation throughout your body. Your gut is often referred to as your second brain and a major hub for your immune system. When it's out of balance due to a lack of fiber and an overload of rapidly digested carbs, inflammation can easily take hold. The solution here is to embrace whole grains. It's not about eliminating bread or pasta entirely, but about making smarter choices. Swap white bread for whole wheat bread, brown rice for white rice, and conventional pasta for whole wheat or legume-based pasta, instead of pastries. Consider a bowl of steel-cut oats for breakfast, perhaps with some berries and nuts. Quinoa is another fantastic, nutrient-dense whole grain that makes a great side dish. These whole grain options contain their natural fiber, which slows down digestion, prevents those dramatic blood sugar spikes, and feeds the beneficial bacteria in your gut, helping to quell inflammation. One gentleman I spoke with, in his early 70s, loved his weekly pasta night. When he switched to whole wheat pasta, he was surprised to find that the usual post-dinner slump and bloating he'd come to accept simply vanished. He felt lighter and more energetic, proving that a simple swap can make a profound difference. We're halfway through our list, and you might already be recognizing some familiar items in your own kitchen. But our journey into understanding inflammatory foods continues, and the next two might surprise you even more, especially the last one. Let's talk about our third quiet contributor to inflammation: processed meats. These are the foods like bacon, sausages, hot dogs, deli meats such as ham, turkey, and bologna, and even some prepackaged frozen meals that contain processed forms of meat. They are incredibly convenient, widely available, and often a go-to for quick meals or breakfast. But they come with a significant inflammatory price tag, especially as we age. What makes processed meats so problematic? It's a combination of factors. First, they are often high in unhealthy saturated fats, which can promote inflammation, especially when consumed in excess. More critically, they are typically loaded with sodium, nitrates, nitrites, and a host of artificial preservatives and flavorings. Nitrates and nitrites, used to cure meats and prevent bacterial growth, can convert into harmful compounds called nitrosamines in your body. These nitrosamines are known to cause cellular damage and promote inflammation, contributing to a higher risk of various chronic conditions. Think about the sizzle of bacon in the pan. or that lunchtime sandwich packed with deli ham. While they might be tasty, that regular consumption can be like adding a small, persistent dose of inflammatory compounds to your system. Beyond the preservatives, the way these meats are often prepared, smoked, cured, salted, also contributes to their inflammatory potential. This constant exposure to these compounds can irritate the lining of your gut, disturb your healthy gut bacteria, and ramp up your body's overall inflammatory response. You might experience this as digestive discomfort, a general feeling of sluggishness, or even an exacerbation of existing joint pain. It's a subtle, cumulative effect that can slowly undermine your comfort and vitality. So, what are your options? It's about choosing quality over convenience. Instead of processed meats, opt for lean, unprocessed protein sources. Think fresh chicken or turkey breast, lean cuts of beef, or better yet, fatty fish like salmon or mackerel, which are rich in anti-inflammatory omega-3s. For sandwiches, consider roasting your own chicken or turkey breast and slicing it, or using plant-based alternatives like hummus and avocado. Explore more vegetarian or flexitarian meals with beans, lentils, or tofu. When shopping, if you absolutely must buy processed meats, look for nitrate-free or uncured options. Although even these should be consumed in moderation. A woman I know used to have a daily deli meat sandwich for lunch. When she swapped it for homemade chicken salad with fresh vegetables, she was amazed at how much lighter and more energetic she felt in the afternoons, no longer experiencing that heavy, bloated sensation. It highlights how cutting out these hidden inflammatory ingredients can truly lighten your body's load. Next, let's dive into our fourth silent aggressor, unhealthy vegetable oils. Now, this one might surprise many of you because vegetable oils have been marketed as healthy alternatives to animal fats for decades. We're primarily talking about oils like soybean oil, corn oil, sunflower oil, cottonseed oil, and often canola oil, especially when heavily refined. These are ubiquitous in processed foods, fast food restaurants, and are commonly used for cooking at home. The issue with these oils lies in their fatty acid composition, particularly their high content of omega-6 fatty acids. While our bodies need omega-6s, the problem arises when we consume them in disproportionately high amounts compared to omega-3 fatty acids. Our ancestors consumed omega-6 and omega-3 in a roughly 1:1 ratio. Today, in many Western diets, that ratio can be as high as 20:1 or even 30:1 in favor of omega-6. This imbalance tips the scales towards inflammation. Think of it like a seesaw. Omega-3s are anti-inflammatory, and omega-6s in excess are pro-inflammatory when the omega-6 side is constantly weighed down. Your body is in a perpetual state of low-grade inflammation. Furthermore, many of these oils are heavily processed, often involving high heat, chemical solvents, and bleaching, which can create harmful trans fats and other damaging compounds even before they reach your kitchen. When these oils are then used for high-heat cooking, like frying, they can oxidize and produce even more inflammatory compounds, adding to the burden. You might notice the effects of this imbalance as persistent muscle aches, dry skin, or even a general feeling of being unwell, without a clear cause. It's like a quiet hum of irritation that your body constantly has to contend with, depleting your energy and contributing to discomfort. The good news is, there are much healthier alternatives. When cooking at home, switch to extra virgin olive oil for lower heat cooking and salad dressings. For higher heat cooking, avocado oil is an excellent choice due to its high smoke point and healthy fatty acid profile. Coconut oil, in moderation, can also be a good option. The key is to be mindful of oils used in processed foods and restaurant meals, as they almost universally use these cheaper, inflammatory vegetable oils. This means being a conscious consumer and perhaps preparing more meals at home where you control the ingredients. One gentleman told me he used to use corn oil for all his cooking after switching to olive and avocado oil. He reported a noticeable improvement in his persistent hand joint pain, something he thought was simply arthritis. This shows that the type of fat you consume truly matters in managing inflammation. We've covered 4 key areas so far. And you're likely gaining a much clearer picture of how seemingly innocent food choices can impact your well-being. But our journey isn't complete. And the next two items on our list are crucial for understanding the full scope of inflammation causing foods. Our fifth culprit is fried foods. This category includes everything from your beloved French fries and crispy fried chicken to donuts, onion rings, and just about anything that's been deep fried to golden perfection. These foods are a staple in fast food establishments and many casual dining spots, offering a tempting crunch and satisfying flavor. However, the deliciousness often comes at a high inflammatory cost. The primary issue with fried foods is twofold. First, they are almost invariably cooked in the very unhealthy vegetable oils we just discussed, such as soybean, corn, or sunflower oil. As these oils are heated to extremely high temperatures for frying, they become even more unstable and prone to oxidation. This process generates harmful compounds like aldehydes and trans fats, which are highly inflammatory and damaging to your cells. Imagine putting low-quality fuel into a delicate engine and then running it hot. It's going to cause wear and tear. That's what these highly oxidized oils do to your body. Secondly, the act of frying itself, especially at high temperatures, can create new inflammatory compounds on the surface of the food. These are often referred to as advanced glycation end products, or AGEs, similar to what we discussed with sugar, but formed through a different mechanism involving high heat on fats and proteins. These AGEs contribute to cellular damage and accelerate the aging process throughout your body. So, that crispy coating might taste good, but it's essentially a vehicle for inflammation. You might notice the effects of consistently eating fried foods as an increase in joint pain, digestive upset like bloating or indigestion, or simply feeling sluggish and heavy after a meal, rather than energized. It's like your body is constantly working overtime to clean up the mess created by these compounds. So, how can you enjoy your favorite foods without the inflammatory side effects? It's about changing the preparation method. Instead of deep frying, opt for baking, roasting, grilling, or using an air fryer. An air fryer can give you that wonderful crispiness with very little oil. And you can choose a healthy oil like avocado oil, or even just a light spray of olive oil. For example, instead of fried chicken, try baked chicken coated in whole grain breadcrumbs or seasoned with herbs and spices. Instead of French fries, make oven-baked potato wedges or sweet potato fries. These methods retain the nutrients of the food without introducing harmful inflammatory compounds. It's about giving your body the beneficial components of the food without the inflammatory baggage. A viewer recently shared that they were skeptical about giving up their weekly fried fish and chips. They switched to baking their fish and making homemade oven-roasted potato wedges. And not only did they find it surprisingly delicious, but they also noticed their evening leg cramps significantly reduced, a direct impact of reducing the inflammatory load. Finally, let's address our sixth and often overlooked contributor to quiet inflammation: excessive alcohol. Now, for many of us, a glass of wine with dinner or an occasional beer is a long-standing habit, a way to relax or socialize, and in moderation. For some, it might not pose a significant problem. However, for those over 60, especially when consumption becomes regular or exceeds moderate guidelines, alcohol can become a significant driver of inflammation throughout the body. What constitutes excessive, and why is it inflammatory? For most women and men over 65, moderation is generally defined as no more than one standard drink per day. Anything beyond that can start to tax your system. When you consume alcohol, your body prioritizes processing it because it recognizes alcohol as a toxin. The liver, your body's primary detox organ, works overtime to metabolize alcohol, and in doing so, it can produce inflammatory byproducts. This process can lead to what's known as alcoholic fatty liver disease, a clear sign of inflammation and damage. Beyond the liver, excessive alcohol consumption can also disrupt your gut microbiome, leading to a condition called leaky gut, where the lining of your intestines becomes more permeable. When this happens, toxins and undigested food particles can leak into your bloodstream, triggering a widespread inflammatory response as your immune system tries to clean up the mess. This systemic inflammation can contribute to brain fog, fatigue, muscle aches, and even worsened conditions like arthritis. Alcohol also interferes with sleep quality, which is crucial for your body's repair and recovery processes, further exacerbating inflammation. It's like your body is constantly fighting an uphill battle, trying to recover from the night before, leaving less energy for healing and daily vitality. The key here is awareness and moderation. If you enjoy alcohol, consider reducing your intake. Try having alcohol-free days during the week, or opting for smaller portions. You might discover that you sleep better, feel more energized, and experience less of those nagging aches and pains. Many people find that simply cutting back on evening alcohol significantly improves their morning stiffness and clarity of thought. If you find it difficult to cut back, remember that there are many delicious alcohol-free alternatives available now, from sparkling waters with fresh fruit to non-alcoholic beers and wines. The goal is to reduce the inflammatory burden on your system and allow your body to heal and thrive. A gentleman in his late 60s shared that he used to have a few beers every evening. When he decided to switch to sparkling water after his first beer, he was astonished by how much more refreshed he felt in the mornings, and his joint pain, which had been persistent, significantly lessened. It truly showed him the connection between his evening habit and his morning discomfort. So there you have it. 6 common foods and habits that, while seemingly innocent or deeply ingrained in our daily lives, can quietly contribute to inflammation in our bodies after 60 added sugars, refined grains, processed meats, unhealthy vegetable oils, fried foods, and excessive alcohol. It's not about achieving perfect avoidance of every single item, but about gaining awareness and making mindful choices that support your body. Remember, making these shifts doesn't have to be drastic or overwhelming. Even small, consistent changes can make a world of difference to how you feel, giving you back that vitality, easing those aches, sharpening your mind, and improving your digestion. Imagine waking up feeling more energized, moving with greater ease, and truly enjoying life without that constant hum of discomfort holding you back. That's the profound power of nourishing your body with intention, of choosing to give it what it needs to thrive, rather than what might be quietly causing it harm. You have the power to influence how you feel every single day through the choices you make about what you eat and drink. These aren't just diet changes. They are choices that impact your quality of life, your comfort, and your ability to engage fully with the world around you. We're all on this journey together, and your experiences are incredibly valuable to our community. Have you noticed a difference in how you feel after cutting back on any of these foods? Or perhaps you have a fantastic anti-inflammatory recipe or a healthy alternative you'd like to share. Please, tell us about it in the comments below. We love hearing from you and building this supportive community where we can all learn and grow together. If you found this video helpful, if it sparked something in you, or gave you a new perspective on your health, please give it a thumbs up. Your likes help us reach more people who could benefit from this information. And if you want more practical, encouraging content to help you navigate your golden years with confidence and vitality, consider subscribing to our channel. We're here to empower you with knowledge and support, helping you unlock your best self at any age. You deserve to feel vibrant, healthy, and happy. No matter how many candles are on your cake, keep nourishing your body, keep moving, and keep embracing the joy of each new day. Until next time, take good care of yourselves and continue to live your best life at every age.